All right, so I've got a lot of requests for this one. Some from people who are fans of Angel Reese and some from people who aren't, but it makes sense since most of my subs are from videos I did critiquing press conferences. I'm going to play her comments before the most recent game, and then I'll be back with my thoughts on it and another unsolicited PR consultation.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. Yeah. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
Okay. A lot there I didn't like. Some things, or at least one thing that I did like. Let's start with the bad. That statement, it's not just her, it's me too. For one, I've heard it a lot. Either everybody already agrees with you or everybody is already firmly in the other camp, but you're not going to convince either side at this point. So I don't really see the point in continuing to bang your head against that wall. But even more than that, it's kind of exclusionary. It's not just her, it's me and her. What about everybody else? Like I've seen posts where she says the angel effect or the Barbie effect when it was like Chicago Sky Stadium was sold out or something like that. But what about Camila Cardoso, who was drafted before you and who just played the most recent national championship game, the one that broke the records? And even her comment about it all started two years ago at the national championship game. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. That's when it started for you. But like a lot of these statements are dismissive of South Carolina and the greatness of Dawn Staley and everything that they've accomplished. Let's walk it back. Like I said, the last national championship game, that's the one that broke the records. And that's the wave that they're riding into this season. Angel Reese, when she won the national championship game, it didn't start there. That storyline started in the game before against South Carolina. Well, South Carolina against Iowa. When Caitlin Clark waved off Raven Johnson, she did a John Cena. She became the villain. She ended South Carolina's undefeated season. And so a lot of people were tuning in to watch Caitlin Clark lose. A lot of South Carolina fans and people who didn't really appreciate the visual of her waving Raven Johnson off like that and got mad for whatever their reasons were. That's why that game became so big. It wasn't just, I mean, the Bayou Barbie already existed, and Caitlin Clark, she already existed before that game. But what took it to the next level was that rivalry between Iowa and South Carolina. So the story started and ended with Iowa versus South Carolina. So were you like really the main generator of this buzz or one of the biggest beneficiaries so far of this buzz of Iowa and South Carolina and the greatness of Dawn Staley? Why were people so upset? Because they were undefeated and because they had won a lot. Why have they won a lot? Sage Wilson was there, the statue in front, and kind of all goes back to her and Dawn Staley, like I said, and the rest of the South Carolina Gamecocks. So put some respect on that. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that built up before that, but as far as her storyline and her saying that that's where it started in the national championship game, it didn't. That's not where that story. That's where you got inserted into the story. You kind of became the hero or the anti-hero or the anti-Caitlyn, whatever. But that's why people were cheering for you and rooting for you as much as they were. It's because they're really rooting against Caitlyn. All right. So you benefited more so than generated. A little 50-50 maybe. But let's not act like this all started because of you versus Caitlyn. That's not what happened. Even in that game, you were the fourth scorer on the team. There were three other starters who played a lot more minutes than you. You were in foul trouble. I remember that game like it was yesterday. You didn't have the main defensive assignment of Caitlin Clark. You had 15 and 10. You didn't even shoot well. Carson came off the bench. She went 5 for 6 from three. They were 7 for 8 combined from three. Outscored Iowa's bench 30-8. You had two players who got drafted to the WNBA right after that. And see, I had to pause and pull it up just to make sure I wasn't misquoting. But yeah, Alexis Morris, 21 and 9, 8 for 14 from the field. LaDasia Williams, 20 and 5, 3 steals, 9 for 16. None of them missed a free throw. You were 10, 10 and 5, 5 for 12 from the field, 5 from 8 for free throws. That game wasn't all about you. I mean, yeah, you did the wave and all of that, but you weren't even the main reason that LSU won that night. You had a great tournament, 22 and 16, I believe, for the tournament. But that game particularly, come on, man, let's keep it real. You benefited a lot from everything else that was going on. Um, this may sound mean. I've been working on my delivery to not sound as mean, but honesty is what I do. You play like Joakim Noah. He's more accurate, more efficient, and he jumps off of the ground sometimes. But you play like Joakim Noah is what your game comp would be. Offensive rebounds, you can bring the ball up, make good passes. That's not what people buy tickets for, just to be real. Your off court, charisma, all of that, cool. Very sellable, very marketable. But on court, be real. It's not the most marketable game. So we just have to keep things in perspective. So yeah, I don't like any of that. I don't like the not recognizing where it really started and giving the credit to who it should really go to. I mean, yeah, she threw in other people at the end of the statement. These other girls, they've been here, but that's at the end after you said me too, and it started. You know, it all started. People start watching. When I played in the national championship game, that's not how it happened. That's not how the story happened at all. So let's just be accurate with that. I personally would like to see her stay away from that though. Let's get away from the Me Too. It's not just her, or it all started with, or hey, I like to make sure that all my girls can have these experiences. Sometimes she acts like she's the gift to to the women who've been in the WNBA, and I'm just so happy that I could do all these things for you guys. It's a little delusional. I don't like it. So if I was her PR person, I would probably advise against that line of speaking going forward forever, or at least until you know she gets a ring, and is a big cause of that. So those are my thoughts. Don't like most of it. Do like the fact that she's smart enough to position herself to where she's going to benefit the most. So that's the part that I do like. The fact that she's smart enough to keep positioning herself as the villain. She keeps saying, "Hey, I'll take the villain role," even though she's really not. Game wise, she's really not the rival. She's really not the antagonist, but she's positioned herself to be. The game doesn't really match, but the name does and the energy does. And so she's rolling with it. She's riding with it to her benefit. Um, I can't even knock it. A lot of the business moves that she's made have been smart. Buying into the soccer team, the endorsements that she's chosen, her going the route of Reebok so that she can be like the main lady of Reebok. All of it's smart. And so I can't knock her there. But it's a little facetious to me too. I believe she knows damn well she isn't really like the rival to Caitlin Clark in that sense. It's just the best position for her to be in, and nobody else is smart enough to take up that mantle. So, or that there's no one singular person in South Carolina or from South Carolina that you could position right there. And also, I want to give a very special thanks to my very first member, and also to everybody who sends super thanks. Can't thank you guys enough. Very much appreciated. It's affirming more than anything, more so than the money. It's just affirming that I added some value to somebody's day. So thank you guys for that. Anybody else who hasn't subscribed, please do so. My views and my likes don't really match up with my subs. So if you guys can help me out with that, I aim to get to 10,000 by the end of the month. Might be a little lofty, but listen, we aim high. So if you guys can help me get to 10,000, that'd be great. Either way, I'll put a ball on that there. This whole Chicago Sky Indiana Fever situation. The Liberty and the Sky played a nice game last night. I'm ready to get back to basketball. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I want to start with a clean slate, not put it on this one.